Hi everybody, this is Katie with Katie DeGroff Knits. I am going to show you my favorite way to close up the holes left by your sleeves and your underarms. I'm going to show you today here on my Sandy Cove sweater, which will be going into testing in about a week and will be coming to everybody this winter, which I'm super excited about. So when we finish a sweater, you want to try it on and you want to get everything done. Don't rush closing up the holes in your underarms. You don't want to be left with raising your arm when you put your sweater on and there being a big gaping hole and, oh no, now I have to fix something. So I prefer to use a 3-needle bind off, which gives us a very reinforced seam. You don't have to worry about it being too tight, too loose, your tension being off, because it will give you something that is nice and sturdy, as long as you have enough stitches to start with. That's a biggie. If you start with too many, then it's going to be big and huge, and if you start with too little, then it's just going to be teeny tiny. And pull anyway. So this way you have something to weave your ends in on, and you have something that is there that will give you structure. This is definitely a piece where you want structure. It's on your underarms. So to start, you're going to turn your piece inside out. And I have already picked up my stitches here on 2 small needles, which I absolutely love. These Knitter's Pride Zings for this. They're little 9-inch needles and they're perfect. Just enough, not too much. So to start, make sure you have an even number of stitches on each needle. You will match them one for one, just as in Kitchener or anything else, any other little closures that require equal stitches, but make sure they're equal. And always, don't forget, pick up a couple stitches along your edges to close up those gaps. You can only close up so much by sewing in your ends. So to begin, you are going to take a 3rd needle. Now, when I pick up my stitches, I like to use one smaller. Makes it picking up just that much easier. When you're working, use the size that you used for your piece. So for this, I used a 4, so that's what I'm using here. So I have my working yarn back here. You're going to begin by inserting your needle into the first stitch as if to knit. Don't pull it off and don't actually knit it. Then you're going to insert into the back stitch as if to knit. You have your needle through both of these stitches, knitwise. Gather your yarn. You doesn't want to give me a problem right now. I'm going to pull it through both stitches as if to knit them together. Now they come off. You have 1 stitch left. Now you've knitted them together. You're going to repeat this one more time. Knit through the first stitch, knit through the second stitch, bring your yarn through as if to knit them together, slide them off. Now I have 2 stitches bound off. Well, not bound off yet, but they're knit together. Now you're going to bind them off. So I use one of these needles. You're going to just pull the first stitch over the second to bind it off. Now we repeat the process. Insert your needle as if to knit through both, knit them together, slide them off. And if you drop one, just stick it back up there. Now use one of your needles to bind that guy off. And you don't have to worry about how tight it is or your tension really at all. Okay, we're going to continue down seam. This is small enough that I'm just going to go ahead and do it all. And I love these little Knitter's Pride zings because they're great. It's just enough needle. I have one in every single size they make. Just gonna keep going. So we get to our last fiddly little guy. Wants to be a pain. And he's off. Pull the last one through. And now you have a tight seam, which is not going anywhere. And if you have any loose stitches on the edges, use your tail, tighten all these up, and then you can weave your ends in through your seam. I can show you the seam on the other side that's already been woven in. There's nothing left. No gaps, no pulls. It is sturdy, very, 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 very sturdy. So that is my favorite way to close up the underarms on my sweaters. If you have any topics that you'd like to see a little video on, or see maybe how I do something and it may help you, let me know.